What's up, castaways? This is Miles Away. So, as you guys know, I absolutely love Oberheim synthesizers on this channel. The OB6 is still my absolute favorite synth I've ever used, and it's one of my dreams to one day own a vintage Oberheim as well. So, when I heard that GForce software had created what was supposed to be the most faithful emulation of an Oberheim synthesizer in software form, I knew I had to check it out. So the guys at GForce software were nice enough to send me over an early copy of their Oberheim OBE V2 synthesizer. Now, this is actually the only software instrument to ever have Tom Oberheim's official endorsement, so I have some pretty high expectations for it. So let's jump into Logic, check out the synth, make some music with it, and you guys can see for yourselves how you think it sounds. I must confess, I think it sounds pretty amazing. As always, if you like this kind of content, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. It really helps the channel grow, and I'll see you in Logic. Now, that intro track that you guys just heard, every single part of it except for the kick and snare was created using only the Oberheim OBE, including the built-in reverb on the OBE. Sounds pretty amazing to me. So the GForce OBE V2 is a faithful recreation of the Oberheim 8 voice, which is one of the most iconic and rare synthesizers on the planet. There are very few of these synthesizers actually left in the real world, and GForce owns one of the functioning ones, which is one of the reasons why they've been able to get their synth sounding so close to the original. Now, the Oberheim 8 voice is special because it's really 8 individual Oberheim synthesizer expander modules in a box. The Oberheim synthesizer expander module, or SEM, was one of the first ever analog synthesizers that was created to be portable and used by musicians along with the Mini Moog, and is iconic to this day. Now, the Oberheim 8 voice took 8 of those, put them in a box with a keyboard, and made an absolute monster out of it. Probably the most unique characteristic of the Oberheim 8 voice is that because it's made up of 8 individual SEM modules, you can actually tweak each of the voices individually, which can do anything from subtle pitch detuning all the way to insane, wacky sounds where each of the different 8 voices is a completely different sound. In addition to these 8 voices being completely independent, the Oberheim OBE V2 also adds a step sequencer that's able to actually independently scroll through the different voices as well as play traditional polyphonic sequences. With that, you can get some extremely cool moving sequences where each of the steps is actually switching between a completely different sound with all the 8 voices. But what's probably the most iconic thing about the Oberheim SEM isn't the features or the workflow, it's the tone. Now that pad you just heard me playing on is honestly probably one of the most classic Oberheim sounds, and in my opinion, GForce completely nailed it here. The amount of nuance and analog imperfection that's in that patch is just staggering and amazing to behold. Here's another patch I really like. Here's another preset that really shows off the Oberheim vibe and shows how good this thing sounds. And of course, it can do your warm Stranger Things style sounds as well. As you guys know, the SEM filter is my favorite filter on any synthesizer and why the OB6 remains my absolute favorite synth. So let's take a listen to the OBE V2 and see if they got the SEM filter sound right. One final addition that I was so happy to see on a software synthesizer is the vintage mode. Now, as you guys know, this is one of my absolute favorite features from the OB6, and I'm so impressed that they've been able to port this over to the OBE. Sounds amazing, and just there you're already able to bring a lot of that analog nuance into a software synth like this. Alright guys, that about does it for today. As you can tell, the Oberheim OBE V2 from GForce is an extremely faithful recreation of the Oberheim 8 voice. That alone is a massive achievement, considering most people will never actually get to play a real Oberheim 8 voice. Now, does it sound truly indistinguishable from an analog synth? I'll leave that one up to you guys in the comments below, so let me know what you think, because to me, it sounds pretty fantastic. If you like this video, consider checking out my Patreon where you can support the channel. Thank you guys so much in advance, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.